Hello friends and welcome back to my homestead. This is Christmas season and that means that we feel nostalgic for those old-fashioned family recipes. So dust off your cookbooks because it's time to bake an old-fashioned cookie. This cookie that I'm going to be making is actually my rendition of very old recipe, German recipe of sweet loaf bread that's baked for Christmas. It's called Stollen, and I know the way it's written, it looks like it should be pronounced Stollen, but it's not stolen. Nobody stole anything. The correct pronunciation, my German friends tell me, it's Stollen. And Stollen is a sweet bread that has raisins and other sweet dried fruit, and it's baked at Christmas time. This recipe goes way back to 13th and 14th century in Germany. As a matter of fact, I found some literature that talks about because this sweet bread called for fat in the recipe, but it was during Christmas fast, and they eventually received a special permission from the Catholic Church to use fat to bake this bread because it was time of fasting. So I have modernized this and made this my own into a very much a Stollen taste, but it's going to be a cookie, and I'm gonna try to make it my own. So let me share the recipe with you because it's super fun. I made a batch yesterday because I wanted to test out the recipe and work out the kinks. So yeah, the cookies are gone, and I made 38 cookies. Normally this cookie or this sweet loaf or these cookies supposed to sit and season to marry their flavors better. So that's why it's baked ahead of Christmas and served at Christmas time. So this cookie can be baked today and be stored away for a few days and served later. But my family ate it all because it's that good. Okay, so let me show you the ingredients we're going to need for this cookie. And these ingredients are pretty traditional, and I hope that every pantry has them. Okay, so we're going to start with butter. I have 4 ounces of soft butter that I left on the counter for a couple of hours. It's about 113 grams here, soft butter. Then I'm going to need 1/3 cup of white plain sugar, nothing special. I'm going to need 1 whole egg, 1/4 of a cup of full fat sour cream, 1/4 of a cup of sour cream. Okay, I'm gonna need some flour, and I have 2 cups full and 1/4 cup flour here. And the reason why I have a 1/4 cup added is because as I'm adding it to my recipe, I'm going to look at the consistency to make sure that I'm reaching the right consistency. The reason why I'm saying this because I have some raisins. This is 1/2 cup of raisins that have been soaking in orange juice. You may soak in rum, but I chose to use just plain orange juice. And it likes to sit and soak for a while. If you want to soak it overnight, put it in the refrigerator, you can do that. But if you don't have time to do it, just pour a little bit of boiling water, and that's going to help to plump them up. Okay, so this is just plain 1/2 cup of raisins. And because of these raisins, it may take up more flour, so I'm going to have to judge it to see what's going on. All right, then I need to add to the flour, I need to add, where's my measurement spoon? 2 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. Okay, because it's going to help to fluff up the cookie and make it nice and soft. All right, so it's going to be sitting in here for me. What else? I'm going to put some cinnamon, and I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon, but you may use more of cinnamon. Okay, so Stollen requires dry fruit, and it's not like the fruit cake, but I already talked about the raisins. And then you can choose any other dry fruit, any candied oranges, anything like that. In my case, I have dried apricots that I just chopped up in tiny little squares, okay? And then we're gonna need nuts. Now, you can choose any nuts you want. I have 1/2 cup of almonds here, and if you want to take ones that are blanched without skins, you can take ones with skins. It really doesn't matter. But what I'm doing is that I need to chop them up into small pieces, okay? Because this cookie is going to be small and delicate and soft. Okay, so we're going to start by just creaming the butter with some sugar, and I'm going to put it in my mixer. You can use any kind of mixer you want. Come on, scoop up all this good fat here. You know what I was even thinking? That we don't have to use butter. I mean, it's the most common fat to use for baking, but you can use other fats as well. All right, so I'm gonna put that with sugar and I'm gonna beat it. Mix it all together. And to that, I'm also going to add some vanilla, because why not? Vanilla tastes good, smells good. So I'm gonna put a generous 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay. Next thing, I'm going to drop the sour cream. Nicely mixed. Now I need to add the egg, and I just want to make sure that I don't drop any eggshells on here. Okay, just 1 egg, and mix it all together. I need to scrape up the walls. You know how butter likes to stick to the walls, so I just want to make sure everything is mixed all together. All right. Alrighty, now for the next thing is that I'm gonna add a little bit, I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm gonna put a little bit of zest of an orange or a lemon, whatever you really prefer, and just I'm gonna scrape zest of the whole orange. It's not a very large one, I mean it's a good size. So yesterday I made it and I put a little bit of tangerine because I didn't have any orange. But tangerine tasted just as good. So any citrus would work very well. And I do have this little scraper here that helps me to get the zest in there. It just adds that nice, fresh, crisp flavor. I always wondered why Stollen has to sit for a while before it's served. I mean, you can serve it fresh, but it's better when it sits and kind of marries all of those flavors together. Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to be adding flour, and I'm going to do that in portions. So I'm going to put about 1/3 of it first, and I'm going to be mixing it, okay, slowly. And I will know how much to add if I have to add more. So I'm gonna put that reserve of the little flour to the side just in case I don't need all of it. And I'm gonna be dropping my apricots in here. Let them mix all in together. The chopped nuts. All right. And so remember this, I have a little bit of orange juice. So I'm gonna try not to put that orange juice in there. I'm just gonna scoop up you can strain it if you really want to. Just gonna put the raisins in there. You can use golden raisins. Golden raisins look really pretty in these cookies, but I'm just putting the regular kind. All right, so let's mix it a little bit more so everything's incorporated. Yeah, I feel like I need to add a little bit more flour. All right, and it's done. All right, so now I'm gonna take all of this cookie dough. First of all, it looks so good. It looks really good. It looks really like an old-fashioned cookies. I know we're so used to the modern cookies that sometimes we purchase, but it's not the same thing. There's just something special about this old-fashioned recipes. Okay, friends, so this dough is super soft. Look at this. It's not sticking to my fingers. So this resembles very much cookie dough. All right, so this is what I need to do right now. I'm not gonna put it in the fridge, none of that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to sprinkle a generous amount of flour. I'm gonna put it on the top, on the bottom, okay? And I'm gonna take out my old trusty rolling pin, just like this. I'm gonna flour everything and I'm gonna roll it out into a square. I'm gonna roll it out into a square very gently. Doesn't have to be, don't press on it too much, okay? I'm gonna attempt to make a square if that works. And it's gonna be about a centimeter thick, which is what, about a quarter of an inch, I would say. Okay, let me see if I can straighten it out more to make it more of a square. Now you can cut them into any shapes you want. You want to make circles? Make circles. You want to make round little balls? Make round little balls. But I find something very nostalgic about square cookies. Why? Because that's how Mama made them. So I'm just gonna cut them into strips, probably about an inch and a half thick. And I'm gonna cut them into little squares. All right, the dough is very soft. It did not rest in the fridge, not at all. And I'm just gently running the knife all the way, making them into long strips, just like this. If there's a nut somewhere in my path, I have to cut it through. But so far I hadn't had any issues. Okay, about an inch and a half or so. All right, and then I'm gonna cut across. I feel like yesterday's cookies came out a little smaller, and I made about 38 cookies, I think I made. And I'm just cutting them right across, just like this. 350-degree oven is warming up, and I need to bake them for 15 minutes. So the flavor of them will be somewhat similar to a scone, but not the same. Not the same, not at all. And I know they are perfect the next day because what was left over, I tasted the next day and it was perfect. So I have a cookie sheet that I just lined with some parchment paper, and I'm going to line them, put them all on the parchment paper one by one. Okay, Stollens are done. So I know they don't look like that loaf that looks like a log, some people call it, or the swaddling baby, but it will have the taste of a Stollen. So what I need to do right now is actually I'm going to brush everything with a little bit of butter, have a little bit of melted butter, and just right at the top, very light layer, really quick, I'm going to run through all of these tops, and I'm just going to brush them really quick with a little bit of melted butter. And on top of that, I already have prepared a little bit of powdered sugar, okay, and I'm gonna dust everything with powdered sugar. Now some people say, well, we do powdered sugar because it's winter and it's Christmas time and it's snow, but for me, my friends, I like the powdered sugar because it resembles the swaddling cloth of baby Jesus when he was born in the manger. And I think it's a great story, you know, to have that white cloth of baby Jesus, and that's what we're going to be doing with this powdered sugar. It's going to resemble our baby Savior Jesus that was born in a manger a long time ago. I'm running out of butter, but I should have enough for all of them. All right, just a light dusting, a little bit of brushing of butter, okay? And now I have a sieve, and this is how I always do it. I just put sugar and I generously sprinkle all over my cookies, just like this, okay? Now, these cookies are best to be stored in a airtight container, like a Tupperware or something like that, or wrap them in something that of your choice, okay? But what I'm gonna do is a part of it I will put in a Tupperware, and I'll put, it's like a plastic Tupperware with a lid to stay nice and airtight, because you want these flavors to continue to develop as they're sitting together. But some of these cookies I will put on my beautiful old-fashioned platter, okay? It's gonna have like little children's play resembles on this platter here, very pretty. And it's gonna be perfect to serve for my family with coffee or with tea. Look how pretty they are. Don't they look like old-fashioned Christmas? And so many of us are trying to recreate that. I think it is absolutely beautiful. So friends, I hope you are encouraged to make old-fashioned recipes. Bring a little bit of nostalgia and a little bit of old traditions back into this Christmas season. Look how beautiful they are. Stollens, okay? So friends, this may not be the most authentic German Stollen log rolled out with sweet bread, but they taste just like it, and they smell like it, and they're gonna be perfect for Christmas table. So friends, I hope you stay encouraged. Merry Christmas.